Hi, welcome to Math Beast Tutoring, now on YouTube. Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to work on graphing quadratic functions. Now, we already learned how to solve quadratic functions by factoring, but now we're going to learn how to graph them. There are a few things that we're going to have to find before we're able to graph the quadratic function. Now remember, quadratic functions look like this. Ooh, that marker doesn't work. Now remember, quadratic functions look like this. X squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. So we have a term that's squared, a term that is not squared, a term with nothing, no variable, and it's equal to something, what we usually like to rearrange it so that it's equal to 0. All right. Before we move into the actual process of graphing, what we're going to need to make sure that we understand is the standard form, what they call the standard form of the quadratic function, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now, that is a crap ton of letters in there. We don't even really like it when there's an x in there, but now there's all this a, b, and c too. Oh man, don't worry. A, b, and c are just placeholders for what's usually numbers. So a, b, and c are the coefficients. Remember that word? The coefficients of our quadratic function. So here, wait a minute, there's no number here. That's because it's our invisible number 1 that likes to hide from us all the time. So here's A, here's B, and here is C. All of these positive, positive. All right, I'm going to erase this now. We need more room. So in this function, we're going to say what A is. We're going to say A is 1, B is 8, and C is 15. Right now this means nothing to us, but as we move forward, it'll be handy to have that written down for us. Now, there's a couple different ways to graph the quadratic function. We need 3 points. We're going to need the zeros, or some other 2 points, and we're going to need the vertex, which is the point when our graph stops going down and starts coming back up. Make sense? Excellent. All right. So in this graph, we have our A, B, and C. This is a factorable quadratic. That's great, right? We can factor this really quick, because we already know how to solve by factoring. Let's solve it real quick. Let's find the zeros, which are, if you remember from our other video, which are the x-intercepts. So what? 2 numbers. Multiply to 15 and add to 8. Let's see, factors are 15, or 1 and 15, that doesn't add to 8. 2, no, not 2, 3 and 5, ooh, 3 and 5, that makes 8. Plus here, pluses here, 3 and 5. Now if you remember, we set both these guys equal to 0. Oh, don't need that anymore. And so, quick solution. Solution here. So our coordinate points, I'm going to write these over here, are -3, 0, and -5, 0. There's the first 2 points to make a graph. Now we need to find the vertex. I'm going to erase some of this work. Because we already found the zeros, the 2 spots where it's going to cross the x-axis. Now let's find that vertex. Let's find that spot where it stops going down and starts going up. Here's a formula for you. The x-coordinate of the vertex is equal to negative b over 2a. Here's a and b again. Good thing we already wrote down what those actually are. So we'll just plug in b right here and plug in a right there. Let's do that real quick. Negative b, that would be negative 8. 2 times a is 1. 2 times 1, which is just 2. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Now wait a second, we need a coordinate. This is only one number. Well, that is the x-coordinate of one number. It's the first part of our vertex, which is negative 4. Now if you remember, equations, graph equations, functions equations are written as f of x equals, well, f of x is just y. So we can plug this negative 4 in right there and right there to solve for y. So here we go. Y equals negative 4 squared plus 8 times negative 4 plus 15. Now, instead of equaling 0, this is going to equal to y. Let's see, negative 4 squared is positive 16 plus 8 times negative 4, that's negative 32, minus 32 plus 15. Everybody with me so far? Good. So I'm going to use my trusty assistant because at our level we have assistants for the grunt work. 16 minus 32 plus 15, whoopsie, don't forget the 1 on the 15, is negative 1. So y is negative 1. Wonderful. That's the other half of our vertex coordinate. Now we have 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Let's put it on our coordinate plane. Let's graph it. So now we have our 3 points. We have our coordinate plane drawn out. Let's graph. Let's start with negative 4, negative 1. That's our vertex. These 2 points should come up on either side of our vertex. Let's see if it works. Oh, I don't want green. I want purple. Negative 4, negative 1. Right there. There's our vertex. There's our first point. The next point, we got that one already. Next one is negative 5, 0. Negative 5, 0. Now 0 is right on the x-axis. There's that one. And negative 3, 0. It's looking like a U shape so far. These are all the points we need because as we come up, I'm just going to trace up like this. So what about when our quadratic function is not factorable? Like this one, for example. The factors of 3 are 1 and 3. That's it. No other ones. And 1 and 3 are never, ever going to add to positive 6 or negative 6 or any kind of 6. So we're not going to be able to find the zeros or the x-intercepts of this graph, but we're going to be okay. Remember we have that a, b, and c. Let's get our a, b, and c. Remember a here, when there's nothing, it's that invisible 1. So a is 1, b is 6, and c is 3. So instead of trying to factor this to get the 2 x-intercepts, let's find the vertex first. We can still do that because we know b and a, and we know our vertex formula. X equals negative b over 2a, 2 times a. So negative b is negative 6, and 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Here's the x-coordinate of our vertex. We'll go ahead and start a little point list over here. Negative 3, comma, and we need to find the other half of that x-coordinate. So we're going to plug negative 3 in for our x's, and we'll find the y portion. So x squared, negative 3 squared plus 6 times x, 6 times negative 3 plus 3 equals y. Negative 3 squared is 9. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. And plus 3. All right, assistant time. 9 minus 18 plus 3 is negative 6. Y equals negative 6. There's the other half of our vertex. We still need 2 points. Let's find those next. So even though we won't be able to factor this to find the x-intercepts, we will be able to find 2 other points that will help us plot out our quadratic function. So we already found our vertex. Let's put that in the middle of our xy table. Put that in the middle, negative 3, negative 6. Now, I'm going to choose x's, and I want to choose them, some of them less than and some greater. We don't have to get crazy. We have negative 3 here, so let's go negative 2 and negative 1. And over here, just the next ones, negative 4, negative 5. Easy peasy. Now, we'll plug in all these x's here. We'll square it, multiply it by 6, add them to 3, add them all together to get our y coordinate. So we did some grunt work with our calculator. We have plenty of points to plot out. Here's our vertex, negative 3 and negative 6. Next 2 points, overachievers. And our axis of symmetry at negative 3. Thanks for watching How to Graph Quadratic Functions. I'll see you next time.